Watchers in the Fourth Dimension. Hello and welcome back to Watchers in the Fourth Dimension. I'm Anthony.
I'm Diana.
I'm Julie.
And I'm Reilly, and I'm not going to hurt you. I want to please you.
This episode, it's the final showdown between the Doctor and the Black Guardian while a dommy mommy threatens to steal the show in Enlightenment. But before we get into that, Reilly's going to take a quick look at the mail. Over to you, Reilly.
Thank you. We have a little bit of discussion on our Big Finish recording talking about spare parts, and we have some comments regarding our Season 19 retrospective. Let's start with spare parts. Adam Quinton Wright writes in and says, Spare Parts was one of the first Big Finish audios I listened to when I needed a Who fix in 2022. I got obsessed with the notion of just the Fifth Doctor and Nyssa. So many great audios with that team up. I'm glad you picked this one. Hayden Chubb says, I am a big fan of Big Finish, and yes, this is, as said, one of the best, but I haven't listened to it often. It's so dark that you have to work yourself up to listening to it. The Peterloo Massacre is the same, brilliant but brutal. I agree. Yeah, Spare Parts is not very uplifting. Now we're going to talk about our Season 19 retrospective. First up is Stacy Custer, who says, I appreciate the observation Diana made that many of these stories were rewritten from stories for 4 and his TARDIS team to make 5 and his team work, and it just kind of didn't. I was also recently re-listening to some old episodes of the pod and heard Pertwee and Baker described as, quote, forces of nature, but different. I think that force of personality is what Davison is missing for me so far. That's a good observation. I agree with you on that, Stacey. But I have hope for the future because I have seen a few of his stories where I totally buy him as the Doctor, so I know we'll get there eventually. I always enjoy your retrospective episodes and the chance to reflect on the season and that you're not just charging through it all. Thanks for the time and care you put into the show. Well, thank you very much. Good friend Alan Seiler writes in to say, interesting divergent comments about director Fiona Cumming. She directs other stories throughout the Davison era, so it'll be interesting to see reactions to her later contributions. Overall, a fun wrap-up of a very uneven season. And Guy Lambert will wrap us up here with, I love this, especially because I love your podcast. But sometimes I think it's worth stepping back a bit and remembering that this was largely aimed at kids, and as a kid back then, I loved it. For me, Davison was my hero. He was energetic, he dashed around, and he solved huge galactic problems. I loved the companions too. Tegan, who I thought was a bit like my older sister, parentheses, complaining, exclamation mark.
Nice.
Adric with his naive and rather foolish behavior that made me smile because he was like kids at school, and Nyssa. Oh, Nyssa, how I loved you. I also truly believe that she and the Doctor were a couple because, well, why not? Well, okay, interesting. All the other men and women on TV were. That's his explanation. I know it sometimes borders on pantomime, anally, and often the characters are a bit two-dimensional, anally again. But for me as a kid, this was the only show doing this kind of thing, and the special effects were glorious to behold. Seriously, where else could an 8-year-old back then see Concord vanishing, fishy, lizardy things invading history, and weird giant snakes possessing the mind? Come to think of it, where else could an 8-year-old do that now? That's true. So here's the hope that you'll remember the purpose of it too, and not get wrapped up in the fun, but more modern adult-focused critique. If not, I'll have to put you all in my web. My web!
Oh my God.
Well, that's a very good little write-in. Yeah, I think when we criticize stuff, we can get a little serious with it, but we enjoy it because of how silly and stupid it can be. We enjoy that element of it, but that is a very good point. And that's how we're going to wrap up the mail. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Reilly. And as a reminder to our listeners, we really do love getting your feedback, thoughts, comments, and questions. And as you've just heard, we do try to read out as many as possible on the show. So, of course, please do get in touch. You can contact us, as always, through Instagram and Facebook at Watchers4D, or you can email us at watchers4d@gmail.com. You can also interact with all 4 of us on our Discord server. An invite link to that is in the show blurb. Additionally, we would love it if you subscribe to the podcast if you're not already doing so already, and if you dropped us a review or rating on your podcast platform of choice. So with that, let's move on and take a look at behind the scenes on Enlightenment. Our story here starts with Eric Saywood. before he became script editor of Doctor Who. At that point in his life, he had largely worked in radio, where he came to know writer Barbara Clegg. And Clegg was a regular viewer of Doctor Who, which she watched with her children. In 1981, she and Saywood began discussing ideas for the show, and Clegg took inspiration from her extended family, which spanned several social classes. In particular, the way that her wealthier relations interacted with the working class side of her family reminded Clegg of gods toying with lesser mortals, which led to the notion of the Eternals. The concept of solar winds, streams of charged particles ejected from the sun, prompted the image of sailing ships racing through space. For the prize of such a competition, Clegg developed Enlightenment from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil as described in the Book of Genesis. The confluence of these ideas appealed to Saywood and producer John Nathan Turner, who appreciated the originality of the concept. In late September 1981, they commissioned Clegg to write a storyline called The Enlighteners. It was envisaged as the concluding serial of the 3-story arc involving the Black Guardian, and so Clegg duly wrote the characters of the Black Guardian and the White Guardian into her narrative, replacing the Enlighteners who were originally awarded the race's prize. The script for Part 1 was then requested in late October, followed by the remaining 3 parts at the beginning of January 1982. By late April, concern was growing that the trilogy's first adventure, Pat Mills's The Song of the Space Whale, would not be ready for its scheduled production dates in late August. It was briefly thought that The Enlighteners might be brought forward to take its place in the recording order, where it would be directed by Peter Moffat. Instead, Saywood was able to commission Peter Grimwade at short notice to fill the void with Mordrin Undead. As such, The Enlighteners was restored to its original place in the schedule to be made and broadcast 5th in the show's 20th season. In September, Saywood changed the title to Enlightenment, which he felt was more enigmatic. By this point, Fiona Cumming had been assigned to direct Clegg's serial. She had recently completed work on Snake Dance, the first story of the current production block. It was Cumming's idea that the Eternals would not blink, and she strove to find actors who could adopt a suitably aloof demeanor. Also in the Enlightenment cast was Valentine Dial, making his final appearance as the Black Guardian, and he was joined by Cyril Luckham, who reprised the role of the White Guardian that he originally played in 1978's The Reboss Operation. Joining the rest of Cummings' behind-the-scenes team, we have Jenny Osborne as production manager, making her first and only contribution to the show. She's also notable for work on Blake 7, EastEnders, and Juliet Bravo. As designer, we have the return of Colin Green, who previously designed Season 11's Death to the Daleks. As costume designer, we have the return of Dina Collin, whose work we previously saw on Season 19's Earthshock. And lastly, as composer, we have Malcolm Clarke, who had previously scored Season 9's The Sea Devils and Season 19's Earthshock. Production on this story was not an easy one. During the first production days in early November 1982, material on the decks of both the Shadow and the Buccaneer were recorded. Unfortunately, the shot of Turlough jumping overboard did not go as planned. The harness supporting Mark Strickson malfunctioned, leaving him walking with discomfort for several weeks. I would love to know exactly what happened there. During this time, the BBC was once again at risk of industrial action from the Electricians' Union. This had resulted in Terminus, the story made immediately before Enlightenment, losing one of its studio days, and it was becoming clear that subsequent serials were in even greater peril. Enlightenment was scheduled to be made in 2 blocks, the first to take place in mid-November, and the second running at the end of November and into the few days of December. Unfortunately, in early November, the Electricians did indeed go on strike. All of Cummings' studio days were postponed, and it appeared that Enlightenment, along with the final 2 stories of Season 20, The King's Demons and The Return, might have to be abandoned. Fortunately, the strike was resolved in late November. To avoid having to extend contracts on multiple serials, it was decided that The King's Demons would be recorded in December as scheduled, which left Nathan Turner with the difficult decision of what to do with Enlightenment. Since it was narratively crucial, resolving the Black Guardian Trilogy and establishing Turlough's permanent place in the TARDIS, the producer decided that it would have to be made on the studio dates originally allocated to The Return, which would be dropped from the run. As a result, The King's Demons would now serve as the season finale. However, all was not lost for The Return. A revised version would eventually air in the following season as Resurrection of the Daleks. With the recording of Enlightenment having been postponed for 2 months, Cumming took the opportunity to go on vacation to Lanzarote. Upon her return, she found herself having to make several crew changes and replace 2 actors who were now unavailable. Peter Sallis and David Rule had originally been cast as Stryker and Mansell, respectively, but the roles would now be played by Keith Barron and Lee John. John was the lead singer of pop band Imagination, whose hit Just an Illusion had peaked at number 2 in the British charts in March 1981. Cumming herself had to relinquish an assignment on the soap opera Take the High Road in order to complete the serial. Meanwhile, JNT was confronted with unhappiness from his regular cast. Davison, Strickson, and Janet Fielding all disliked the dynamic that had developed between the Doctor, Turlough, and Tegan, and Davison wondered why the Doctor would choose to travel with such seemingly disagreeable companions. Nathan Turner accepted their criticism and encouraged them to work together to improve the interactions between their characters. Around the same time, visual effects designer Mike Kelt approached the producer about the deteriorating state of the TARDIS console. Nathan Turner informed Kelt that there was no money to refurbish or design the prop for Enlightenment, but said that he would address the concerns as soon as possible. At the end of January 1982, Saward asked Clegg to provide an additional 90 seconds of content for Part 1 and a further 2 minutes for Part 2. Clegg added dialogue between the sailors and Turlough about the America, as well as about Jackson's attempted rebellion. The second studio block then took place at the end of January and the first day of February, and largely dealt with scenes on the Shadow. The belated completion of Enlightenment brought Doctor Who's 20th production block to an end. However, Davison, Fielding, and Strickson would soon be reunited for the Doctor Who 20th anniversary special, The Five Doctors, which went before the cameras in March 1983. The final version of Enlightenment was broadcast between the 1st and 9th of March 1983 in the show's usual slots. Meanwhile, while this was going on, Davison informed John Nathan Turner that the next season, season 21, would be his last on the show. He had been unimpressed with the writing on season 20 and was dismayed by the lack of budget and resources afforded to Doctor Who by the BBC. In addition, Davison was mindful of the counsel of Patrick Troughton, who had told him to remain in the role no longer than 3 years. Soon thereafter, Fielding and Strickson also confirmed that they wanted to leave Doctor Who during the following season, and it was becoming rapidly clear that 1984 would see Doctor Who completely reinvented once again. But we'll get to that when we come to it. And so with that concludes our behind the scenes. We're on to our short summary, which this episode is with Diana. Over to you, Diana.
This week on Below Deck Button Space, an Edwardian-era vessel full of very clean, laid-back sailors, all sporting incredible levels of amnesia, are a part of a team racing towards something. They may not be sure where they are or where they're going, but there's grog, so that's fine. New shipmates, the Doctor, Tegan, and Turlough, all agree that it's not fine and start trying to cause their usual havoc, which is fully waylaid by the fact that the officers of the ship are Eternals, which means they're, well, eternal. And more or less omnipotent. Their race continues smoothly, bar a few totally natural, complete explosions of the competition ship, and first mate Mariner, that's with 2 R's, please, falls in love with Tegan despite her being ephemeral in a rather gross way. Turlough continues to be manhandled by the Black Guardian, who seems to be two-timing him with Captain Wrack, which, who can blame him? As the race draws to a close, Captains Wrack and Stryker are neck and neck. Who will win? The Doctor and Turlough, of course. Turlough does his 17th backstab of the episode and finally pulls away from the Black Guardian's influence by turning away from his inherent greed and setting the Black Guardian on fire. Finally, the traitorous little twat has the audacity to ask the Doctor to take him home. And that, ladies, gentlemen, and those beyond the binary, is how you achieve enlightenment.
Amazing. Amazing. Well, thank you, Diana. And with that, let's jump in and talk about it. Part 1.
You know what annoyed me?
Wow, we're starting with that, Julie?
It's even stupider than you think. So you know how I watch things with closed captioning?
Mm-hmm.
It immediately said that the disembodied voice was the White Guardian.
Yeah.
Didn't even try to just be like, disembodied voice. No, White Guardian is saying this.
All right, BritBox, what are you doing? Can we talk about how we start with chess? Because we haven't seen that since K9. And here we have Turlough playing against Tegan, and Turlough completely ignores the fact that Tegan and the Doctor are busy. So I ask, is Turlough the tin dog?
No, K9 was a better boy. And I will die on that hill.
I also appreciated in this scene the absolutely villainous lighting they gave Turlough.
Mm-hmm.
This opening scene, and I'm going to admit, I know I've seen this story before, but I did not remember a single thing about it. We're kind of thrown in and we have no idea why they're conserving power. Why are the lights down low? What the hell is going on? There is no context at this opening, and I kind of like it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's good. It's like an in situ kind of thing. I like it.
And then we have the White Guardian and his message coming through. And immediately, and again, I didn't remember seeing this before. I'm like, well, the last time we saw him in the Reboss operation, he could simply pop into the TARDIS. So what's happened to him and his power? And I was going, is this really inconsistent characterization? But then it's explained. I actually really like how this opens and develops.
Do you like the little dove on his head?
In the end, when you finally get a good look at it, it looks so damn goofy. Its face and its eyes, it probably has googly eyes.
So the question I have is, Reilly, next con we do you want to be the Black or the White Guardian?
White Guardian. Yeah.
Because I'll do the other one with you.
Oh my God.
I like the idea that at some point the two of them got together and was like, okay, so let's coordinate, but just on the hats.
Yep. Bird motifs all round. It's very 22-3400.
Are we looking at doves? Are we looking at ostriches? What's the vibe?
I love the scene with the White Guardian trying to send his message through because it does a trope that always cracks me up, which is when someone's giving a message and it's breaking up and then they trail off, a cryptic message. That is so hilarious to me. I just want to end all my conversations by just saying, and don't forget to go to the store.
Pick up some toilet paper. Paper.
It's so ridiculous. It's like, I think there was an MST3K because obviously that trope shows up in a lot of the films they cover. I think the joke they usually do is that each time it's repeated, the person who's listening to it is like, okay, I got you. All right, no, I got you the first time. All right, that's fine. You can just shut up now. So
I also want to talk about how Turlough is maintaining power and makes an executive decision to ensure the TARDIS does not blow up. And when the Doctor comes back, what does he do? Oh, he's a dick to his companions. I don't care what you think about Turlough at this point. The Fifth Doctor is being true to character.
Yeah, that's true.
I will say what I did find a little bit refreshing is for a good part of this, Turlough being with the whole Black Guardian thing actually took a back seat for a little while. And I was like, oh, thank you. Thank you so much. And I was a little weirded out at first of how it turned because I have a lot of questions on that once we get there. But at least I got a little bit of breathing room. And I was like, okay, Turlough, I'm going to hear you out this time because you're not acting like an asshole all the time.
For now.
I will say, I really like some of the atmosphere that is really achieved, both obviously in the TARDIS, and then we get out of the TARDIS, and we discover that we're on a boat. I had to just throw that in there. And there's a lot of music that I appreciated in this, and one of it was just some of that really atmospheric music while they're in the hull of the ship.
Yeah, part one does a great job of setting the tension.
Yeah.
Setting the mystery. Unfortunately, when it is revealed what it is, that's not so great.
But before we get to the end, I mean, there are some other things. So part one ramps up the weird really, really well. You've got everything going on with the two Guardians, the TARDIS nearly blowing up. Once Turlough and the Doctor leave, you've got Tegan in there, and she encounters the White Guardian, but she also sees Officer Creepy on the scanner.
Ugh. Oh, God.
And it's so weird.
So creepy and weird and fucked with me.
And you've got the crew ignoring the Doctor and Turlough for a while. And just the way this builds, it's a level of weird that's effective that we haven't seen in a long time.
Okay, Diana, this man. Please add to this, please.
Look.
Officer Creepy just wants to please Tegan.
No.
I mean, can we say mega sub?
No. Absolute stalker. The fact that they introduce this entity, because I don't know what the fuck that thing was. Look, did he have like a prosthetic face bits on? He felt very plastic even.
I know, it's so well done.
He reminded me of, what's his name? Max Headroom.
Yeah,
Oh, I can see that. Yeah.
But when they introduce him with his hands just like up on, this got into the realm of Diana doesn't watch horror movies and scary shit. He was so scary.
And it all comes, in my opinion, from his performance.
Yeah.
He's that
very
good. He's that good at being unsettling. He should have been casted as a serial killer. He just has that complete, like, blank, empty, soulless thing going on. Perfect.
The number of times he made me want to take a shower, guys, was very many times.
Honestly, all of the actors for the Eternals were my
I wouldn't say all.
Nope, all. I will say all.
We'll get to my problematic one. It's fine.
Every time you say Eternals, I think of that Marvel movie that I didn't see. But while we're on the topic of the first episode, I don't think you cover this in the production. I'm just wanting to throw this out there because I want to get everyone's opinion about it. So when they're in the dining room, when Tegan is getting seasick, notice when they have that sharp break. So they just did the old Star Trek original series trick, right? Where they move the camera suddenly one direction and all the actors are timed up to shift one way, right? That's how they did that.
I would assume so.
Okay. I was wondering if there was maybe some sort of advancement in technology. And also on the idea of that them being on a ship, something that did not make any sense to me. So when Turlough and the doctor are first out there, like going through the hold, like looking at barrels and stuff, Turlough didn't know what it felt like to be on a boat. But then the doctor is able to clue him in that they are on a boat because there's tar on a piece of rope. That doesn't make any sense to me. So Turlough knows that tar on a piece of rope most likely means they're on a ship, but he doesn't know that ships rock back and forth. It doesn't seem to make any sense.
I think Turlough is one of those people that when he's corrected, he goes, yeah, of course I knew that.
Ah, good point. All right. And also when they get to the cabin with all the sailors, the ephemerals, that is when the writer said, I'm going to turn on the ship jargon to 11. Let's go.
Yep. Before we go there, sorry, there is just one thing from earlier. When they're in the TARDIS and they've heard the two Guardians speak, the Doctor utters the words, I've no time to explain. Are we counting that as an I'll explain later?
Yeah.
It alludes to the fact that he'll explain.
Right.
Okay, done. We have won this story.
The atmosphere gets set really well. Yes, they turn up a lot of jargon, but, you know, they're Victorian-era shipmates that are stuck on this boat, except it's a boat, but not really a boat. And I love this one singular guy that doesn't drink rum.
Jackson, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, poor Jackson, my man Jackson. And everyone thinks that he's the crazy one.
And I love how he takes Turlough under his wing and is like, all right, buddy, I'm proud of you for not drinking. You've got to keep a clear head.
I loved the interaction with Turlough and the cabin crew. The way that he was just wildly out of his depths, being around regular asshole people was an absolute delight. And honestly, I loved every second of in that cabin crew. All of the jargon, so good.
And as the story starts to unfold, some of them it's like, oh, this is their first time. Tegan's like, what do you mean you brought an inexperienced crew on a race? And then she finds wetsuits, which is anachronistic. Like, the mystery here builds, and then you get, at the end, the anachronistic tech, and we find out, oh my god, we're in space.
And don't know about everyone else, that kind of felt like a bit of a disappointment.
You know, it's a little bit of a trope. Arthur C. Clarke did it with Sunjammer. We've obviously got Space 1899 as a RPG that did the whole thing, but I like it.
And guess what? I haven't seen any of those. So this is really one of my main spaceship boats. Boat spaceship, whichever way you want to say it.
I mean, it's a cool concept.
Treasure Planet.
Yeah.
And I am always here for a ship out in space.
Yeah. It's weird and cool.
I think it's super weird. It's spooky. It gives ghost ship vibes a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I love playing with the concept of solar winds because technically that is a thing.
Yep.
And I think it's really creative. And I actually think highly underutilized in science fiction.
Yeah. Into part 2.
So it's revealed that we're in space.
Yep.
Why is the ship rocking?
Because of the solar winds.
But
obviously.
do solar winds, that's not...
No.
That's the ocean that makes a boat rock, not the wind.
Look, it's fun. They're going for authenticity. This is a bunch of alien cosplayers.
Okay, so that's what I was thinking about. So that's exactly what I was thinking. Like, they have somewhere on this stupid damn ship a thing that makes it rock back and forth or make it feel like it's rocking back and forth.
They're that bored.
100% they're LARPers. They're doing it all with their brainwaves.
Oh, boy. Yeah.
Reilly, you're so unimpressed.
Yeah. I was buying the mystery, and this will shock Julie, but I was actually kind of feeling like horror thing rock. Like, all right, let's do creepy historical ghost story on a ship. Let's do that. Sounds like fun. Oh no, we're just on a spaceship, a literal spaceship. Okay.
So I could have liked it. I had a lot of problems with these whole eternal folks, and we'll get to a lot of my problems. And I think that there are going to be a lot of problems that Anthony might not have as many problems with. But oh gosh. Oh gosh.
We need to race to that.
Yeah, well, let's talk about part 2 first. So we get a lot of kind of backstory on the Eternals versus the Ephemerals. Just generally Officer Creepy trying to get Tegan to drink stuff and escorting her.
How do we say buoy or Bowie or Bow?
Yeah.
Boy. I have questions. Anthony, is that how you guys say it?
Yes.
Oh, weird.
Boy.
Actually, no, I'm not going to tell that story.
Okay.
Oh.
I used to row in high school, and at the Putney Embankment, which is where Oxford and Cambridge both raced out of for the boat race, there is a buoy that is painted black.
Oh,
and
no.
you can guess what it's just generally referred to as.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Yeah.
And moving on.
Moving on.
Let's talk about Tegan having her little sippy sip of the grog.
Mm-hmm.
Was anyone else really felt bad for her that she looked like she was about to drift off and have a really good sleep, and then freaking Turlough wakes her up after only been like in there for 5 minutes?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, come on, man. Like, she's about to really have a good sleep, and then that happens. That is just very annoying and classic Turlough.
Yeah. Classic Turlough.
But she was feeling all right.
She seemed refreshed. That is true. And that's when we get their mind reading capabilities start to be hinted at, because the room is decorated in a combination of what did she say, as her room in the TARDIS and her room back home?
Yep, in Brisbane. Mm-hmm. And there's even a portrait of Auntie Vanessa on the nightstand. So blast from the past there.
What I found interesting, okay, so the grog interacting with the crew, it made them forget that they were all of these things. And it feels like Tegan wasn't impacted the same way by the grog.
I think it needs to build up or something. She had just like one sip. Like those guys were doing shots. That's my headcanon.
Okay.
All I know is that I totally understand and agree with the implementation of forcing people to drink rum. Trader Vic's at DragonCon has taught me that yes, rum will make you feel better no matter what. Drink some right now. Right now. Do it, everyone.
Yeah. I think the concept of the Eternals is actually pretty cool. I like that they're these beings from effectively beyond our comprehension, and they are so all-powerful that they're bored and have actually lost their own identities, and so they rely on us to effectively exist. I mean, when the Doctor gets angry at who they are and accuses them of being parasites and treating ephemerals as toys, he's spot on, and boy, do I think that's a cool concept for aliens.
Wasn't there more to it than just that also? Because didn't they seem to give the impression that it wasn't just using them for manual labor or an idea, but also just they're looking for something to give them motivation, like the will to actually want to do anything. And I thought that was what was very, very interesting about it, is that here's this thing, it's a race. Okay, that's something that can occupy our minds for a time. Because out there in the void, they literally just do nothing. And after doing that for eternities, you probably have the drive to do nothing.
It's the rich kids of Instagram. They are so rich and powerful, effectively, that they're bored as hell.
And co-opting another culture to make them feel more vivacious and alive.
Oh, yeah, for sure. They're like, look at this adorable little thing. I want to cosplay as this afternoon, but it's a whole cultural identity.
Yeah.
There is a small part of me that would like to see more of this, and maybe it could have been multiple steps of a race, and we could have started with the boats, and then we could have done something else entirely, or like gone into like a gladiator stadium or something like that, just to like change things up a bit more by how bored they are, that you're just like, why in the world did I just go from a boat to a stadium?
Oh, I get it. Yeah, that's a good idea. Like they keep switching up the game because they just want to do a different game. Yeah.
I definitely want to know what Eternals find diverting, because this was stupid in a way that I truly loved. It's a silly concept. Let's race some boats historically accurately, stealing the minds of these people.
Except not accurately, not on water in space.
Well, you know, we're going to play it up. That sounds like a good time afternoon. I want to know what else they find interesting.
And unfortunately, with the exception of a few mentions, they're never really revisited in the TV show.
I think they can make a comeback.
Big Finish.
novels, Big Finish, comics, they're pretty well explored in the expanded media, but not really in TV.
One thing I did want to say, though, about this whole thing, we get this prize at the end. A whole time I'm like, what is this race even for? And when it's finally said it's Enlightenment, and I was like, are we talking for to Doomsday Enlightenment?
Yes. Oh my God. I was going to mention that earlier, but there was no easy way of fitting it in. But oh my God, the manner of disappointment I had that this had nothing to do with her at all.
No, it's just the old-fashioned metaphor of light being knowledge and darkness being ignorance, and knowledge defeating ignorance, effectively.
Which we need to go into more depth about the macro plot here when we wrap it all up in 4, because I have some questions.
Yeah, but we have many other things to talk about between now and then.
For example,
Turlough calling on the Black Guardian. I mean, he just calls him pathetic, throttles him, and then has a delightfully comical evil laugh where he actually goes, nya ha 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 ha, complete with the nya at the beginning. Oh, chef's kiss.
Oh, not just that, it reminded me of Homer strangling Bart. That's what it looked like to me.
Also, Officer Creepy telling Tegan, you're not like any ephemeral I've met before. Yeah, I bet he says that to all the girls. What a creeper.
Okay. Now that you brought it up, I have to ask, did anyone else get extremely concerned, because it's happened before on the show, that they were going to send Tegan off and pair her off with this asshole?
No.
Okay.
No.
Legitimately, I got a little concerned, because especially then when we get to our little reception and she dresses up and he dresses up, I'm like, oh, come on, no, do not do this.
No.
It never really felt that she felt the same way. And then we get to a part later, which I will go on probably a little rant about, when it's just like, yeah, no, she had zero interest in that shit.
Yeah.
Right. Good.
Yeah, she was always turned off just by the fact that he was an Eternal. You know, her kind of sticking point is don't undervalue humans.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, through this episode, we end with everyone going up on deck and Turlough hearing the Black Guardian in his head again, and he jumps overboard. And that's our cliffhanger. So we're into part 3.
I thought, because the cliffhanger, the editing still shows his feet on the railing.
Yep.
That's when it cut, and I knew going into episode 3 that, man, something's going to happen. He's just going to crawl right back down, or someone's going to, like, stop him. But no, shit, he actually did it. He really did jump off, and I was like, yes! End of Turlough. We're done.
But then the Buccaneer comes to his rescue.
Yes.
You know what I've really enjoyed, though? That music that plays when he's floating out there, chef's kiss for once. I'm actually saying it. There's a time in the 80s when I love the music.
Oh.
I particularly loved the part where they hadn't tied the life ring to the deck.
It's definitely a whole level of incompetence for sailors.
I mean, appropriately Edwardian. This is Titanic era, right?
Mm-hmm.
I really liked that when he's floating off and perhaps, maybe not, will be picked up by the other ship. Tegan, when talking about it, sounds more annoyed than upset that he's almost died.
Oh, yes. I mean,
I really enjoyed that.
Tegan's had zero chill with Turlough since day one.
Yeah, she's had his number from the beginning.
And, you know, we get on board the new ship, the crew appear to be pirates, and Turlough is thrown to the ground at the booted feet of this female captain.
Oh, boy.
He's not just thrown to the ground, but forced to crawl, by the way.
Yes, he was.
And all I'm going to say at this point is, step on me, mommy.
No.
Oh, God.
No.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
100% yes.
Wow.
I'm not a fan.
Oh, man.
It was taken too far. She was too much for a good portion of the time.
Oh, no. She was deliciously over the top. She just chews on that scenery relentlessly, and it's wonderful.
While also being really good at communicating the absolute deadness inside. She kept those dead eyes real nice through all of that just Joker level insanity.
Oh, yeah. It's brilliant. Anyway, Tegan and the Doctor and Officer Creepy head on over to the Buccaneer. So Tegan finally gets a new outfit. And during a cut that didn't make it in because Janet Fielding's dress slipped and she exposed herself and hadn't realized it, Peter Davison was doing his dialogue, and at the end he just looked at her apparently and went, "Oh, and Tegan, put your boobs back in."
Hold on. Is this the second one for her?
Yes, because in the other episode...
She had another one where
Terminus.
she popped out.
Yes, she does keep popping out.
Well, I mean, was that her fault or was that the hands coming from around the door?
That was the hands. So
That
one
was
of the
the
hands
hands.
accidentally pulled down her top.
No, it is the costume.
I mean, yes.
Yes.
And
It is the costumer's fault. If she's having that much trouble staying contained, they need to be costuming her better.
And if anyone's going to have a problem, it's Captain Wrack.
I mean, we need to talk about Captain Wrack's Wrack.
Oh.
We don't have to.
No, we don't, but I needed to say it.
I'd rather talk about where Tegan got that wig.
Yes. Well, I assume being an Edwardian ship, they have a stock of wigs on board. Obviously,
guess.
Reilly. Obviously.
Perfect match.
One thing I actually enjoyed about this is when we get to Wrack's ship and we're mingling with folks from the other ships, they actually did some diversity.
Yeah.
And I wish some of them had a bit larger of roles, but I did enjoy that her right-hand man was someone of color. So that was really cool to see. Now, shame that some of them were forced to walk the plank, and that's the only interaction we have with them.
Oh, but they're Eternals, so they don't actually die. They weren't ephemerals.
Yeah, but it was really nice to see that, and that they still fit within the realm of ships, right? Because you've got pirates, and they had Asian representative, and I really enjoyed that part.
I actually really appreciated the fact that most of her crew was black, considering that it's a Spanish galleon, basically, because she was supposed to be representing Spain. Like, that was her gig. And so I really did appreciate that they represented that aspect of Spain, because I don't think a lot of people necessarily remember that it was black for a very long time. And I really appreciated the aspect of talking about that they just manifested everything for that time period, which included right out of their indigenous time person's mind, whatever they're called.
Yeah.
It's a really cool concept.
It's a super cool concept.
And they had the Greek ship as well. You didn't get to see much of it. I just realized what they were doing. It was an Age of Empires race. Is what they
Effectively.
Yes.
If anyone wasted hours of their life playing that game.
Yep.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
I mean, you've got 3 gamers on this podcast and Julie, so at least 3 of us.
Thanks for calling me out, Anthony.
I don't know, you might wear not being a gamer as a badge of honor. I don't know.
Yeah, I kind of do. And I also liked, and I know that we all hate on the celery, but the little gag of him looking at the different celeries and replacing his celery stalk was really kind of cute.
Yeah, there's a lot to enjoy here. I mean, I love the way that Captain Wrack kind of works the room. She semi-compliments the Doctor and Tegan. She's like, oh, Doctor, you're fascinating in other ways. And Tegan, my other guests can't wait to meet you. It's not quite a genuine compliment, but it sounds like it should be. It's well scripted, in my opinion, and well played. And then when she takes Tegan aside and freezes her in place, I mean, you will remain frozen in time until I've finished with you. I was seriously wondering what she was about to do. I was like, God, is this going to go somewhere really dark? No, she's just trying to kill him. It's good. It's all good.
Because it's not quite mind control. It's a little bit mind control. Because the Eternals could have used strict mind control a lot more than they did, right?
Yeah, that's no fun.
That is no fun. And I appreciated that, because if we were going to go down into mind control land, I would have probably flipped out and been like, I'm going to stop the podcast now because I can't.
It's fine. We'll have it again at some point, Julie. You know the Master's going to show back up and we'll get mind control. It's just how it goes.
God, that would have been amazing. That would have been amazing if the Master revealed that the whole time he was Wrack.
Oh, no. Oh, no. I would have to forget everything I've said about Step on Me, Mommy.
Peels back the mask and he's got on those like silicone boobies that drag queens wear.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy.
Okay, I want to talk about this room that Wrack goes to and then Turlough eventually goes into.
The vacuum room.
I want to talk about how funny it is when Turlough's in there and they shut the door and turn the vacuum shield off again, and the giant sign that just says vacuum shield off that blinks. It is the stupidest thing.
And then Turlough calls for the Black Guardian's help and he just tells Turlough to die.
Yeah, Turlough calls on the Black Guardian like he's a bad ex.
Yeah, and the Black Guardian's like, I am done with you. Please die soon.
But then, as he's calling for the Black Guardian, he then calls, you know what? Maybe I need the Doctor instead.
Yeah, he's starting to realize who he should be relying on.
Anyway.
And then as soon as they're out of that room, they're held at sword point, and we get one of Captain Wrack's extremely campy laughs that I think are so glorious. And she promises the Doctor's ultimate destruction. And that's our cliffhanger into part 4. So she brings Tegan back. And of course, Officer Creepy was worried about her. And Tegan's gone from trying to avoid him to just being kind of a bitch.
Hey.
No.
No.
In a way that's entirely deserved. Okay, don't get me wrong. She's hit the end of her tolerance.
I mean, she's doing it for good defensive reasons.
Yeah. No. I don't mean that in a bad way, but she's done with his weird behavior and is like, just go away. Good for her. And then he gets really weird and is like, but without you, I'm nothing. And I love how she's like, wait, are you in love with me? And he's like, no, I just want to exist.
Right? No, that was scary.
That is very scary.
Yeah.
Because they don't even understand love, right? It's just a concept that they don't understand. And the fact that just existing is of that much importance, it's like, well, you already exist. It's really bad.
No, I think it's brilliant.
No, I'm not saying the idea is bad. I'm saying that it's bad that he is thinking that, existence is the thing. Like, from the perspective of Tegan and of relationships and things like that, like, that's very unhealthy and that's that bad type of thing.
It's fascinating because it is absolutely terrifying, because when you really think about the concept, and I don't want to go all nerdy here on this, but basically they are the Nietzschean abyss.
Ooh.
He has no identity other than how he reflects off of Tegan. And to think of an entity that can't even identify or understand self without how it affects others, purely only in that way, is terrifying, because after a while, especially if you are eternal, you're going to need more and more reaction, and that requires you to do more and more very terrible or loud things, and that's really crazy. And also, it is kind of a glimpse of a codependent relationship, too.
Oh, 100%. He's one of those people who his relationship becomes his whole identity.
Yeah.
It made me wonder if the writer has ever had to deal with or knows somebody that has had to deal with a stalker.
Oh, good one. Yeah.
Because at the end, I was like, this feels almost like a campy true crime documentary, like a docudrama, because this is very obviously stalker coded.
Yeah.
From the, I just met you, I have absolutely no reason, to why is Tegan's mind so endlessly fascinating? Bless her. I love her.
I think the Mara thing?
I think it's more just because she's very headstrong and is willing to stand up for herself, and they're not used to seeing that from an ephemeral. I love that that's her personality. I'm a little bit fascinated by it because I like strong women, but he takes it to a creepy extent.
But this man is ready to camp in her front yard. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
I think if she had done it a few more times, but earlier in one of the other parts when she blanked her mind out to get him out of her mind, oh man, if she had done that one or two more times and he kept complaining about it, that would have been perfect.
But equally, I think her ability to do that is part of what makes him so fascinated by her.
And just completely ignores the fact that he's like, oh, your ability to deny me access is cool, but doesn't read that she wants to deny him access.
Yeah. Consent, yo.
Right. Oh, gross. But very real. And for that, it was actually a very, very strong character in the whole piece.
I can already tell that 2 of us are going to rate this highly and 2 of us are not.
Okay, that's also a little unfair, though, because I can dislike one character and still enjoy a lot of the other things that are going on.
That's true.
And it's not that I dislike the character in their entirety, just a little bit too much. Just tone it back. Because mainly what I disliked about the character, and I guess we can go on to it, is that she was, and I know not every character has to be multidimensional, but with her being a captain of a ship, I wanted there to be something else. And I know the Eternals, they play off of certain things and whatnot, but what made her be that crazy in comparison to the other captains? And they didn't delve too much into it other than her being like, well, I need to be the one who wins. I'm like, well, they all want to win.
And the Black Guardian has been speaking to her. So I think it's the influence of the Black Guardian who is promising her these things that's made her so excited about winning because of what that will do for her. The ability to create and destroy, which she's just going to use for her amusement.
And that delves into what I kind of was not the biggest fan of this whole thing. But we're still getting there.
Yeah, she gave me Caligula vibes.
Oh, 100.
You know, I'm so powerful that everything is dull. And, you know, some people have murdery little horrific streaks in them. And she's one of them.
And that scenery is so delicious.
Mm-hmm.
I love her.
Mm-hmm, me too. I like the part where in the beginning of episode 4 where she just fully breaks the fourth wall and just stares down the barrel of the camera. I loved every second of it.
Delicious.
What did you think of the part where she does like the multiple head trick? It felt like she was doing a shell game. Focus, focus. Where's the red lady? Find the red lady.
It was a bit Bohemian Rhapsody, wasn't it?
It was. It was.
I mean, what I found really creepy about that particular scene was the Black Guardian speaking through her mouth.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's so creepy, but also glorious.
There was also some other, like, just creepy things that ended up happening. And then, like, at one point, Turlough, like, the way that his eyes went at one point, I was just like, I don't know how the cameraman captured the insanity that was his nose up, but it was insane.
It's that moment that he is trying to sweet talk her. She's seeing through him, but then he's like, well, the voice that speaks to you also speaks to me, and I serve him. And to your point, Julie, he's got like those crazy wide eyes, unblinking. And I'm like, okay, say what you will about Turlough. That's phenomenal. Great work, Mark Strickson.
Oh, yeah. This is my favorite of the 3 stories so far of Turlough. This is the best one with Turlough. And it's not just because he turns good. He's also just not an asshole the entire time. And he's more complicated. And that's the interesting part, is seeing that struggle. And I guess, yeah, part of it is him turning good, but really it's the struggle that I enjoyed.
And I don't think he really turns good. I think he acts in his best self-interest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's an excellent point.
That's fair.
And I think after this, we're going to see some character development in Turlough between now and when Mark Strickson leaves the show.
Okay, see, this is something that I made a mistake on. When Turlough joined 2 serials ago, and in our background information, it was revealed that we had a Black Guardian trilogy, if you will, of stories. I thought that meant that Turlough would leave now. You don't understand how disappointed I was with that.
And that was kind of the idea, was if they felt Turlough was a character they could continue to explore, he could stay on. Or if they felt like they were done with him, they could have him leave at the end of the trilogy. He stays with us for a little longer.
It's so funny. I was the original one who hated Turlough, and I'm not as upset as Reilly is. I feel happy now.
Well, let's discuss then, I guess, our end here, because we have technically 2 endings. First, we have the end of the race, and then we have the end of the story through the resolution of the awarding of the winner of the race.
Hang on, quick question. So at the end, there's the fake out where we're led to believe that the Doctor and Turlough are thrown overboard, but it's actually Wrack and her first mate. They were with Turlough and the Doctor in the laser room, for want of a better term. Did Turlough throw them both overboard? Did the Doctor help? Like, who threw them overboard?
It's probably Turlough. I think it was.
But Turlough's a coward.
And the Doctor would have had to hold somebody, because all they've got is that little hole.
Yeah.
But I think the point is that because Turlough usually is such a coward, I think we were supposed to interpret that he actually was not a coward.
So did the Doctor just stand back while Turlough threw both of them overboard?
I mean,
He would have had to have held one of them.
Yeah. I mean, the Doctor's complicit in this, one way or another.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But equally, they're Eternals, so it doesn't really matter. They're going to be fine.
Yeah, I think he wouldn't have seen it as murder.
Right.
Still a little shitty.
Yeah. So, yeah, they win the race, and Turlough's the one who technically steers the ship into the harbor.
Right. So that brings me to a question. So let's back this all the way up to the beginning, and please tell me if I'm reading this correctly. The White Guardian contacts the Doctor, trying to tell him that he needs help, and that there's great power at risk. Please help. Go to these coordinates.
Right.
The Doctor does that. He doesn't know what the hell is going on in these coordinates. And through the course of the serial, he learns that there's a race. He still doesn't know, like, he tries to piece together, like, maybe it's important for us to win the race, maybe not Wrack to win, whatever. At the end, the White Guardian is the person who's awarding the dangerous award. That would have been bad if it went to Wrack. And was tempting to Turlough until he flambéed the Black Guardian. My question is, why is the White Guardian wasting everybody's fucking time? He's like, oh, please help me. Please help me. Dude, you're the one that's running the damn race. You're given the award. What is happening?
Yes and no. I mean, it's very clearly joint between the Black and the White Guardian, and they seem to have some rules that they play by. So the Black Guardian is very clearly covertly helping Captain Wrack. The White Guardian knows that Captain Wrack winning the race and being given that power would be a disaster. So he's effectively selecting his own champion to come in and damage Wrack's chances.
Understood. But maybe, White Guardian, maybe you should be a little bit more responsible and not play games with the Black Guardian then and put things at risk.
Well, are the White and Black Guardian Eternals even? And if they're not, if they're outside of these Eternals, why did they even bother saying, hey, Eternals, we're going to give you a present?
Yeah, what did that interaction look like? Did the Eternals reach out to them?
And this is something I wonder if maybe that's expanded upon in the novelization. I know someone of our regular listeners will point it out. Looking at you, Keith.
Anyway, just thinking that White Guardian, it's a dick move, bro. Dick move to be doing that. Wasting everybody's time.
And then the White Guardian, despite Officer Creepy begging not to be sent back into the void, he's like, nope, you're done. Back into the void. You are no longer going to stalk Tegan. Get out of here.
And I love that Tegan's just like, please go.
Yeah. And Turlough, of course, makes the right choice. And the crystal was not Enlightenment. You know, Enlightenment
was the Eternals we met along the way.
Yeah.
Was the choice
I know. I'm with you, Julie. I know. It's... oh.
Light destroys the dark, so knowledge destroys ignorance. And, you know, that's the end of it, effectively.
Okay. Just, you know how you could help by, like, teaching us a lesson? Not putting everyone at risk, asshole. How about that?
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about doing that? Not doing anything?
We did get some pretty delightful death gurgles.
Oh my
God.
God.
Of the Black Guardian.
I want to point out, my wife was watching at the same time. And after that death gargle, she picked her head up, looked at me and said, they really chew the scenery a lot on Doctor Who. I'm like, yes, they do. Yes, they do.
Here's the thing. I know you and Addie well enough, Reilly, to be able to picture the exact look she gave you. The exact look.
Yeah, it's true. And then we get a little bit of tension between Turlough and Tegan and the Doctor because they're all just like, Turlough.
What the hell, bruv?
Like, bruh.
Yeah, the Doctor is the definition of nonplussed.
Yeah.
It's hilarious that his last line is, why not? It's like the show is even tired of Turlough itself. They're like, oh, geez, really? Okay, why not? Sure, let's go to his damn home planet.
Which is shitty because, in my opinion, the Doctor is really the problem right now.
Yeah.
I agree. I think Turlough, that character, would have been a lot more fascinating with a stronger personality, kinder, gentler Doctor. I agree. That would have been more interesting.
Or even a little fiercer. But at this point, I can't even understand why Tegan's not begging to be dropped off at Heathrow.
Yeah. Good point.
I don't often do predictions or once for upcoming stories. However, for this next one with Turlough, if you're going to Turlough's home, if they're not a bunch of like stuck up, like.
Well, and here's the thing, Julie. Next story, we're off to medieval England, so we are not going to Turlough's home for a while.
No.
We're going the long way round to get Turlough home.
God.
But still, if we ever see Turlough's home, they all better be stuck up assholes.
Okay. All right. I got a better one for you. How about it's the exact reverse? They're like incredibly down to earth, super sweet people. And he's just like rebelling against that type of mentality.
No.
Like they're very sweet, like middle American people. And he's like, I'm going to be an uptight asshole. And then they embarrass him, like telling stories about him when he was a kid. That'd be awesome. I'm okay with that one. Let's do that one instead.
Before we wrap up, just one note that I found very amusing. So we don't see or hear about the Black and White Guardians in the TV show again. Like so many things, they are expanded upon in multiple different expanded universe media, whether that's Big Finish, the comics, or the books. And again, the Guardians are in all three of those. One of my favorite things is in one of the comics, one of the characters plays a video game on the space-time visualizer from The Chase, and there is a beige Guardian who complains that his peers mock him for not being assigned a cool color and that the Black and Green Guardians won't stop laughing at him. which I think is just so silly.
Oh my god.
So very silly. All right, before we score this, there is a question I have to ask. Reilly, is he the Doctor yet?
No. There,
Okay.
That's my answer.
Maybe we'll get there by the end of season 21.
I hope we don't. I'm loving this.
Or maybe we just will never get that and you'll have to ask me about the Sixth Doctor instead.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Okay, we already talked about... I'll explain later. We have one. This was entirely studio-bound, no quarries, also no jelly babies. I do want to address the camp count.
Oh.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
1,000,000 points.
I thought we capped it at 10.
Well, I wasn't here for that rule.
For a regular length story, yes.
10. All for Captain Wrack.
Yeah, and Officer Creepy deserves a couple as well.
Mm-hmm. And the good lighting for Turlough a couple of times was really nice and campy for his like villainous choices. His Rosemary's Baby choice, where he got that fabulous like white blue underlighting, was lovely.
So with that, any complaints with going for 10?
That's fine.
Oh, no, it's 10. I mean, I thought it was 10 just by Wrack and Black Guardian alone.
So that is the most camp count points we've had since the Horns of Nymon, which also we gave a 10 to. For, you know, obviously, it is I, Soldeed.
He's making a comeback. I showed you guys. They're loving him on the Doctor Who subreddit right now. So hot right now, that Soldeed.
Yeah, I'm going to have to ask Christina how we might be able to make a Soldeed cosplay for me. Maybe that's a Gallifrey one.
You want to travel with that?
Maybe it might be Dragon next year then. Anyway, on to scoring this, and I have the distinct pleasure of going first. And as I said, I do not remember this story. I have seen it before, at least twice, but I didn't remember a damn thing about it going into it. So I'm not clouded by my usual nostalgia here. I really like this. I think the way that the tension is ramped up in part 1, how we lean into the weird for the first time in a long time, we resolve the Black Guardian trilogy, Turlough gets his moment of redemption. The performances are great. Lee John as Mariner, aka Officer Creepy, brilliant. I loved Linda Barron as Captain Wrack. She really does chew the scenery so utterly deliciously. Tegan gets her moments of being strong and assertive. I just think this is cool in a way that we haven't had in a really long time. So I'm going to give this 9 out of 10.
Wow.
Put your boobs back in, Tegan. Julie, over to you.
Okay. Despite what it might sound like, I really did enjoy this story. I think part 1 did a really good job of setting up the creepy and the weird. And there were some really good music choices. There were really good lighting choices. And I really enjoyed all of that setup. Despite me going on and on repetitively about creepy Mariner Man, that is a really good character. And the way that they actually had Tegan play into it was very good because it's very realistic. Because if ever a man were to do those types of things and say those types of things to me, yeah, no, go away. That part was just so realistic and so good. I mainly had 2 major problems, and I did not like Wrack. I thought it was too over the top, too chewing the scenery, and I wanted a little bit more depth, or at least an explanation as to why, other than I'm just power hungry, which is fine. Maybe that's just me wanting a little bit more out of my villain. And then how the Black and White Guardians fit in to the winnings of the race didn't make sense to me. I don't understand why they were there. I don't know how the internals convinced them to give them things. But again, I did enjoy it. So I'm giving it 7.5 vacuum shield off signs out of 10.
All right, Reilly.
Wow. Okay. So I loved the first episode. Really sets a mood, sets tension. I'm invested. And then it's revealed to be a pretty bland race story. On top of that, I don't have a doctor that I like to rely on to carry me through. And if I don't have that, then I am forced to deal with Turlough, who I also don't like. I like the concept of the Eternals. I think the actor playing Mariner was excellent. I'm neutral on Wrack. I don't despise the character, but I didn't really get much out of the character personally. I think the overarching plot is utter nonsense, and there isn't enough fun stuff to make up for it. So, sorry folks, my rating is going to be, aptly, 3.5 poop quarters out of 10.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
All right, Diana, bring it back up.
All right. Easy. I loved it every minute. The horror at the beginning was just horror enough to be very scary. I did not like it, but it moved into the true crime drama fast enough that I really enjoyed that take as the Eternals became more human, as there were non-controlled humans around. I liked everything about the Eternals. I liked all the actors. We didn't talk about Captain Stryker at all, but I really loved him as well. He had that creepy emptiness. And one of the things I think they did so well in the whole story was really emphasized in this one line, I think it was from Mariner, where the Doctor and Turlough are very clearly, we feel like we're in danger. And it was either Mariner or Stryker that says, but have you been threatened? At no point is anybody threatened. And that level of unease is beautiful. I thought all the acting was beautiful. The scenery was done well. The cinematography was beautiful. This was so good. And the only reason I'm not giving it full marks is because the Black and White Guardians don't make sense at the end. You can tell it's not a part of the original story, that it's there to round out the trilogy. Doesn't make a lot of sense. So with that, I'm definitely giving it 9 out of 10 uses of space pirates.
Well, that gives us a story average, despite Reilly's best efforts, of 7.25, which, as the Davison era goes, is on the higher end of our ratings.
I demand a recount.
I mean, I still vote 9. I'm fairly certain Diana
so
still
good.
does.
100%. This is the best story we've had since I've come back.
Wow.
Come back.
Guys.
Come onto the show. Whatever.
Wow.
Yeah, so fun. Loved it.
Well, that really brings us to the end of the episode. And next time, we're heading off not to Turlough's home planet, which we won't interact with for a while, but we're off to medieval England with Bad King John in The King's Demons. But in the meantime, as always, thank you so very much for listening. And of course, have a good one. You have been listening to Watchers in the Fourth Dimension with Diana Burney, Reilly Schreck, Julie Philippek, and myself, Anthony Williams. This episode, Captain Wrack's Wrack, was recorded on Wednesday the 10th of September 2025. If this is your first time listening into the show, all of our previous episodes are available wherever you like to get your podcasts. You can interact with us on Facebook and Instagram at @Watchers4D, and you can also email us at watchers4d@gmail.com. If you're enjoying the show, please do subscribe and consider leaving us a review or rating on your favourite podcasting app. All of those things really do help the show. Oh, and Tegan, put your boobs away.